Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I'm Electra Porzel. I am the director of the Language of Consciousness Institute, and I have a question for you today. And this is it. Can Indigenous practices be a template for a changed society that will lead humanity into the future? Now, we've already been looking at, like in the United States, we've been looking at our Native American culture for a long time to see how we could integrate some of how they viewed the world into how we live. We're all familiar with the medicine wheel, with talking sticks, with studying how they viewed the animals and the relationship with the animals. Well, there's other indigenous cultures throughout the world, and one of them that we're going to look at in an upcoming program is talked about. It's the Australian Indigenous peoples. And Tyson Yunka Porta, in his book Sand Talk, proposes that one, the present Western society, the way it's structured with its institutions and its world of separation, is not a sustainable future for humanity. And we all agree with that. If you don't, well, then you're probably not going to listen to this YouTube. He proposes that while we cannot become Indigenous people, we can look at some of the practices and concepts that the Indigenous people of Australia live by. And we can essentially see if they could help us act differently, be differently, and create a more sustainable future for humanity, for our children, for our grandchildren, for the generations coming after that. And I've read the book. I've read it. I've listened to it on audio. I've read it on paper and on Kindle. And I'm excited about taking the challenge to read the book more intensely with others, to have a discussion, like a book discussion, about chapter by chapter. Like, what do we think of the concept? And how would that fit in our lives? And what can we do differently to practice it? And then also, for those who write the creation exercises, we will be writing creation exercises on some of the concepts that are there. So this is an opportunity to dive deeper, to take a look at how we live our lives now, the realities that we have been raised in, and decide, do those support everyone giving their unique gifts to the community? Do they support the individuals? Do our education institutions, do our economic institutions, do our political systems actually support humanity moving forward, where we care for all and the common good? My assumption at this point is the present system is not viable for the future. We can see it break. The best we can do right now, the only examples that we have, are the Indigenous peoples in our different cultures. Tyson Yunka Porta has taken a wonderful stab at this. And if you will join me in this book discussion group, then we'll take that stab together. We'll make a deeper dive. So I intend that we try some of this stuff on, experiment. What would it be like? Let's say even to do yarning being their way of talking with one another until the listening is done and the talking is done. In some of our parliaments, it would say listening to be the observer, listening to understand other perspectives. It doesn't that you have to adopt it, but that how do we do it in a way that we really see the whole of everything that's happening? The other modern concept is is whole system thinking, where you examine something not as an isolate, isolated away from everything that it's connected to, but you study it while it is in connection with everything else. And that's a whole different way of looking at something that, frankly, I really haven't been part of, and I'm really excited to try it on. It's sometimes I think of looking at different perspectives and ideas, of like trying on a new outfit and saying, what does it feel like to be in this practice? What does it feel like to view the world that way? And then we can have a really good discussion about how that may be part of how we can make that part of our lives. That different way of viewing, that different way of being, that inclusion of the whole. So anyway, read, I've got some links in the video for registration. The website is www.loc-institute.com. Go to our events page, you can register there. The link is in the YouTube article to register. And if you want to look at a full article about it, I put the link in there in the YouTube description as well. I hope you're intrigued by this. How do we change in a way that creates a new society? So all of our children have a chance to be who they came here to be, that you and I have a chance to be who we came here to be. And it will mean that we have to look at the world differently, because the old ways of looking at the world don't work. Unfortunately, or fortunately, they don't work. So if you have any questions, email me, electra@locinstitute.com, or register or comment on YouTube. And I look forward to meeting you and having a good conversation.